done dumb things this year, whether it be forgetting to close Zoom before slagging off your boss, giving yourself that lockdown haircut, or investing all of your money in Bitcoin right before the market crashes. Cameron Grimes made cryptocurrency seem so easy. Regardless, though, of what you've done this year, it pales into insignificance when compared to your favourite wrestler. With that in mind, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are the 10 stupidest things WWE superstars have done in 2021 so far. Number 10. Edge whinges his way to losing his WrestleMania singles match. Poor Edge. He went from blowing the roof off the 2020 Royal Rumble to seeing his big WrestleMania return play out to absolute silence aside from the occasional pop.wav. Thanks, ongoing global bastard, for that one. As a sort of make good, anyway, he won the 2021 Royal Rumble, but this was a different rated R superstar. He was grittier, he was growlier, he was grumpier, if I'm honest, and he decided to get annoyed about a possible change of opponent. He'd already mugged off Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor and Pete Dunne on his way to deciding that he wanted to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, but the prospect of possibly facing Daniel Bryan instead, that was too much for him. He went from being a person with a guaranteed title shot, one-on-one, as a result of winning the Royal Rumble at the show of shows, to being the spare wheel in a triple threat match. Congratulations, Edge. You played yourself. Number 9. Shayna Baszlers' feud with Lily. My good friend and colleague Andy Murray described that main event segment with Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss and Lily as the worst Raw segment in history. Think of the ground that covers. Triple H popped on a Kane mask and had sex with a mannequin in a coffin that was meant to represent the dead girlfriend of Kane, and I sat there when Andy said that and went, yeah, this ran it pretty close, to be perfectly honest. This is Shayna Baszler, a woman with nearly 550 days combined as NXT Women's Champion, a former MMA fighter who fought the likes of Amanda Nunes and Chris Sodding's Cyborg, and now she's scared of a spooky doll with skulls for teeth. Do me a favour, honestly, what a load of bollocks this was. Of course, I am recording this before Hell in a Cell when Shayna Baszler is going to face Alexa Bliss, so maybe it's all going to work out in the end. Oh, am I kidding? Number 8. Braun Strowman proves Shane McMahon right. I don't really know what started this feud. I feel like Shane McMahon just woke up one day and went, you know that big, bald, beardy bastard? I'm going to say he's stupid. I'm going to say he's stupid. And then he did. And the thing is, just saying it, or gunging him like he's in Get Your Own Back, or producing a fake report card, didn't make Braun Strowman look stupid. The things Braun Strowman did made him look stupid. He picked a cage match for WrestleMania. That was dumb. Shane McMahon very nearly won it, aside from the bit, which was pretty awesome, to be fair, where Braun Strowman ripped the cage open and then hoiked that knobhead all over the place. But also, there was that moment in the build-up where Shane McMahon taunted Braun Strowman and then pretended to get in a car, which Braun then chased out of the arena like, I don't know, a dog, and then Shane McMahon appeared and went, what a bloody idiot. Yeah, you're probably right there, actually, Shane. And the thing is, did Braun Strowman get any cutting remarks in response to Shane McMahon? No, he just used mindless violence. That'll show the kids, Braun. Number 7. Rhea Ripley loses her own challenge to Nikki Cross. You know what, can we just speed round these next few entries? I've got to watch Monday Night Raw every single week and I really don't want to have to relive it. Right, okay, this is part 1 of a 3-part tragedy. Rhea Ripley's transition to the main roster is just your classic NXT to main roster move. They absolutely ruined her. She's not a heel, she's not a babyface, she's not a rookie, she's not experienced. She is somehow Raw Women's Champion, and also, she's a buffoon. She challenged Nikki Cross to a beat the clock challenge. No offense to Nikki Cross, but she should be beating her in that scenario. But the thing is, Rhea Ripley forgot she was in a beat the clock challenge in the midst of being in a beat the clock challenge, like a minute in. There's a big clock on the screen telling her how much time she's got left, and she just got carried away and decided to kick Nikki's ass, and then the time ran out, so she lost. Moving on to the next part of this. Number 6, Charlotte loses her own challenge to Nikki Cross. Right, part 2. So Charlotte Flair watches Rhea Ripley fail to defeat Nikki Cross in a beat the clock challenge, and she sits there and she goes, "You fool, Rhea. I could beat Nikki Cross in a beat the clock challenge. In fact, I could beat her in 1 minute. I wouldn't even need to." The thing is, though, she didn't beat her in 1 minute. She didn't beat her in 2 minutes. She had no sense of urgency, and she just let Nikki Cross evade her, and then, like, with about 3 seconds to go, she went, "I better put the figure 8 on. Oh, bollocks, I've run out of time." Who am I meant to support in this feud? And I'll tell you what, Nikki, you're not getting out this lightly either. On to part 3. Number 5, Nikki Cross celebrates rank mediocrity. Right, time for the third act of a 3-part tragedy. Nikki Cross. Right, her enthusiasm and her excitement, it's infectious, it's great, but she's been presented recently as Mick Foley when he won the bloody world title, she's a former tag team champion, let's not forget, just for surviving for 2 minutes against Ripley and Flair and then winning a tag team match against them when they turned on each other. Who wants to play with Nikki? Nobody, because I think she's just happy getting a participation trophy, if I'm honest. Number 4, Bobby Lashley bins the Hurt Business, then asks for help. Honestly, what the bloody hell was this all about? Like, you don't need to tell me this, that WWE bloody loves breaking up stables. I don't think they understand friendship, if I'm being honest, WWE. But moving on. So Bobby Lashley, well, first of all, he chastises a member of his group for being happy about actually winning a match. And then he kicks Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander out of the team for helping when he asked them not to help. And then he enlists the help of Baron Corbin from SmackDown in beating up Drew McIntyre, all because everyone in the Raw locker room turned down his offer when he asked them for help. What? And this is off the back of him winning the WWE Championship in a match where he murdered The Miz with no help. It made mugs out of everyone, including Drew McIntyre, who Bobby Lashley beat in the opener of WrestleMania. You sick bastard, Vince. Number 3, The Fiend is distracted by his own goo. All right, hands up, I'll admit that I did kind of get some sadistic sort of pleasure out of all this, because what was it, a 6-month build to WrestleMania where Randy Orton burned Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, to death at TLC, and then Alexa Bliss set fire to Randy Orton's face, and then he got better in about a week, and then the burned Fiend returned, and then there was something about Randy Orton coughing up black goo in the midst of all this. But regardless, we get there. WrestleMania 37, the big showdown. This is what we've all been looking forward to. And they proceed to have a back and forth encounter before Alexa Bliss emerges from what can only be described as a box-like structure with black goo coming out of her head. This distracts Bray Wyatt. He turns round, Randy Orton hits one RKO and pins him inside 6 minutes. On to entry number 2, shall we? Number 2, Indy Hartwell watches NXT but has never seen a hug. Don't get me wrong, I love Index as a pairing. A serial killer listening to 80s power ballads his love interest has just been listening to, and a single tear rolling down his face. They've somehow found a way to make me like Dexter Lumis, and I genuinely thought that was going to be impossible 6 months ago. But there's a discrepancy here. Does Indy Hartwell watch NXT or does she not? I get it. The whole point of this story is the star-crossed lovers just keep having these bits of miscommunications that we all know about, but they don't. But then, how can Indy Hartwell watch the show and see Dexter Lumis listen to the power ballads and the tear down the face, but not see that the hug that he had with Poppy the following week after he'd drawn her a lovely picture was platonic and not a sexy hug? Do you watch the show or not, Indy? Because I've seen the ratings and the demos, and I think I know the answer to this one. Number 1, everything Riddle does. You know what? That's not fair. I really like RK Bro. There's a brilliant dynamic there, and those two, along with the New Day, are one of the few good things to do with Monday Night Raw, and yeah, the reason why some of the in-ring stuff gets so highly rated still. It's everything Riddle does outside of the ring that is just dumb. dumb and not entertaining. Like, I loved him in NXT or when he was in WCPW. He got his character just spot on. He's just a laid-back dude. Here, he is the unbearable stoner at the party, just riding his scoot around and talking about things that rhyme with bro and just being so irritating, just talking endless bollocks until you have to convince him to shut up by telling him that you can lock his mouth shut with an imaginary key that you can toss into a bin or hide in your boot. He must be unbearable to be around backstage. I know about this. Why do you think Adam Cleary has said, you know what, Wilborn, you take your time getting back into the office? He's just so thick as a character. I will say, though, he's also responsible for one of the most smart decisions in 2021 a wrestler has made, because when he was thinking about winging it with that promo around what he loves about Japan and decided to just bail out, good move that, Matt Riddle, because I'm fairly certain if you'd have just gone for vaguely what Vince McMahon had told you to say, we'd have had an international incident on our hands. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and you can get me there at Adam Wilborn. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture. I'll see you soon.